For starters, I means 1. So this is 1, 2, 3. Well, right, V means 5. And instead of writing 4 I's for 4, you write an I in front of a V. In fact, anytime a small number comes immediately before a larger number, the smaller is subtracted from the larger. That's called subtractive notation. But whenever a smaller number comes after a large number, the numbers add up, so VI means 6 because 5 plus 1 is 6. 7, 8. X means 10, so IX is 9. 11 and 12. There. Well, the hour is IV, that's 4. And X plus V plus I, 10 plus 5 plus 1, equals 16. So it's 4:16 right now. We're going to need to figure out some bigger numbers if we're going to fix your time machine. I remember that C means 100. But how do you know whether the I is supposed to be added to the first X or subtracted from the second X? Well, I seem to recall that Roman numerals are generally read left to right and from the largest to the smallest number. But before you could read the number fully, you've got to check for subtractive notation first. If you have any smaller number appearing to the left of a larger number, pair those two together in your mind. In this case, the I is smaller in value than both X's, but it's physically located to the left of only the second X. So it goes with that one to make 9. Then I can add the two simplified terms to get 10 plus 9, 19. So this is what the year 119 looks like. Hey Moby, remember how the new library in our town had a complicated looking date stamped on it? The biggest numeral was M, which means 1000. To figure out the rest, we should find any instances of smaller numbers being to the left of bigger numbers and separate those pairs. Since the first C is both smaller than the second M and the M to the left of it, you read it as 1000 minus 100, or 900. And since X is to the left of the larger C, we subtract 10 from 100 to get 90. Finally, we add. Yeah, well, you might also run across L, which stands for 50, and D, or 500. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can only subtract a number when it's 1 power of 10 less than the one you're subtracting from. So you can subtract 1 from 10, but not from 100 or 1000. Oh, and you can't ever subtract more than one numeral from another.
Hello class, I'm so excited you're watching this video. I hope it helps you a lot. Alright, today in math we are on page 194. So let's take a look at some of the problems you worked on by yourself yesterday. So on 4I, let's take a look at that one. 4,379 times 3. Alright. So we're just going to go one number at a time. So 9 times 3 is 27. So then 3 times 7 is 21 plus 2 is going to give me 23. Carry my 2. Then 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2 would give me 11. And then 3 times 4 is 12 plus that 1 would give me 13. All right, so that's what you should have for I. So let's take a look at 4J. So 618 times 13. All right, so we're going to start with a 3. So then 8 times 3 is 24. Carry my 2. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2. Give me a 5, and then 3 times 6 would give me 18. Now, remember my 0, put that down. I'm going to cross that one out so I don't get confused. And then 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 1 is 1, and then 1 times 6 is 6. Now I just need to add together. So 4 plus 0 would give me 4. 5 plus 8 is 13. 8 plus 1 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. And then 6 plus 1 is 7 plus 1, 8. All right, so that would be my answer for 4J. All right, and then K, 3,476 times 8. All right, so we're just going to go number by number again. So now we've got 8 times 6, 48. Carry my 4. Right. And then 8 times 7 is 56 plus 4 will give me 60. And then 8 times 4 is 32. Plus the 6 is going to give me 38. All right, and then 8 times 3 is 24. Plus the 3 is going to give me 27. All right, so that's what your answer should be for 4K. All right, so great job on those. So then you worked on 5. And 5 was an averaging problem, okay? So we had 97, and then we had 52, and 66, 81, and 39. Okay, so the first step in averaging problems is to add. All right, so this is going to give me 335. All right, now what do I have to do after I get that added? I need to divide. Great job, 335. Now I count how many numbers I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so will 5 go into 3? No. So how many times will 5 go into 33? 6 times. Perfect. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract, get 3. Remember to bring down my 5. Now, how many times will 5 go into 35? 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract, get 0 for my remainder. So, the average of all of these numbers is 67. All right, great job on that. All right, so now we had 6A through D, okay? So the first one says 3 yards, and we want to know if it's greater than, less than, or equal to 100 inches. All right, so I've got 2 different measurements here. So I need to make, my yards into inches so I can work with that, okay? So, first thing I need to do, well, how many feet are in a yard? Okay, how many feet are in a yard? Feet to yard. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. Now, well, how many inches are in a foot? There are 12 inches in 1 foot. All right, well, so how many inches would then be in 3 feet? Well, I would multiply 12 times 3 to find out, right? So 12 times 3 is 36. So there are 36 inches in 3 feet. Okay? And I know that 3 feet equal 1 yard. So, but I don't need 1 yard, right? I need 3 yards. So I need 36 3 times. Okay? So I would just say 36 times 3. and that would give me 18. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Okay, so 3 yards is really the same thing as 108 inches. So now, which one is larger? 108. Okay? All right, so now let's take a look at B. So this one says 5 years is greater than, less than, or equal to half of a decade. Well, all right, how much is just 1 decade? So 1 decade is how many years? 10 years. Okay, well, I want half of 10, right? Well, what is half of 10? 5, right? Half of 10 is 5 years. So these are equal. All right. So now we're on C. So this one is 2.5 bushels. And 9 pecks. All right, well, here's what I know. I know that 1 bushel equals 4 pecks. Okay, so if I know that, then I can figure out how many 2 bushels equal. 2 bushels would equal 8 pecks. Okay, but now I've got a half, so 1/2 bushel is going to be half of 4, which would be 2. All right, so I know now that 2.5 bushels is the same thing as 8, 9, 10 pecks. Okay? Do you see how I got that? I knew that 2 bushels is 8 pecks, and then 1/2 a bushel is 2 pecks. Okay? And that's what I have here, 2 and 1/2. So 2.5 bushels is the same thing as 10 pecks. So which one is larger? 2.5 bushels. All right, and then for D, it is 1 meter and 100 centimeters. Okay, well, I know that centimeters is 1/100th of a meter. Okay, so it looks like this, a 100th of a meter. All right, so if I have 100 centimeters, if this is 1 centimeter and I have 100 of them, well, I could do this. I can multiply it by 100. All right, if I'm multiplying 1 centimeter by 100 centimeters, get 100 over 100. And who remembers what 100 over 100 would be? Be equal to 1 meter. Okay, because any fraction that I have the same numerator and denominator equals 1. So when I'm talking about centimeters, it's going to equal 1 meter. Okay? All right. And then today you are working on 7, A through E, and then 8. So on 8, what you're doing there is you're just multiplying 9, 12, 7, and 11, each of those by 12. And then you're going to work on 9A. All right, so on that one, it's just going to be, it's Roman numerals. So it's going to be X, X, I. So you're going to figure out what that equals, and you'll just multiply it by 12. Okay? So whatever that number is, you'll multiply it by 12. And then on the 7A through E, on those you're reducing. Okay? So let's look at 7A together. 7A is 7 over 21. And I need to reduce it. Reduce. That means to bring it to the lowest terms. To do that, I need to find one number that I can divide both of these by. The greatest number. Okay? The greatest number I can divide both of those by. What would that be? I can divide both of these by 7. Okay? That's the largest number I can divide both of them by. 7 divided by 7 would give me 1, and then 21 divided by 7 would give me 3. All right, so that would reduce to 1/3. So on all of those, just find the greatest number that you can divide both the numerator and denominator by. All right. So do the very best you can on those, and we'll go over that on the video tomorrow or Monday. So I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for all of your hard work this week. All right, so I'll be back with another video on Monday. Bye.